What's up, everybody? This is Robert Young, owner of Diamond Cuts, the hottest barbershop in Bastrop, Louisiana. I have 3 barbers along with me: Octavius Atkins, aka Tiny, Tavares Sanders, aka Moochie, and Vincent Anderson, aka Big Head. We all been cutting together 5 years now, and I've been cutting for 12 years now.
I think it's just one of the hottest barbershops in Northeast Louisiana. Y'all should come check us out. Diamond Cuts, Bastrop, Louisiana, across from churches.
So let's go ahead and go through it all again. Let's start with your name, talking about how long you've been cutting hair in this location.
My name is Homer Dean Brister. I've been working here in front of the paper mill since December 1949. I hope to stay here long enough to get on regular in this barbershop.
I'm doing good. Tell me, if you woke up today and was president, what would you do?
First thing I think I'd do is I bring the troops home.
Bring all the troops home.
Yeah, stop the war in Iraq and bring all the troops back home.
And the first thing I do, I bring my boys home.
I don't know what I'd bring all of my troops back from over there, or kind of phase them out and see what we could do by phasing them.
Man, I'll legalize weed, bring the troops home. Well, I'd just act a fool if I was president.
Well, I guess the first thing I'd try to do is get the country more united. Too many different directions that we're heading in right now, especially when it comes to supporting the troops overseas.
See if they would let me fly Air Force One. Now, if I was a president, I think I'd blacktop all Bastrop. Have everybody rolling smooth.
I'd probably get rid of Democrats.
I'd probably call my cabinet together and see if we can't get a handle on this border situation we have.
I'd probably take a nap.
Probably worked on that economy or something like that.
I would do my best to get the price of oil reduced down to where poor folks can afford to buy gasoline.
I think the first thing that I would focus on is employment.
I figured some way out in order to get the government back in the hand of the people.
Resign.
What do you think about all our peoples over in, Iraq,
I support George W. Bush and what he's doing. However, as far as Iraq goes, I don't think we'll ever win.
I don't know whether it's a no-win situation or not.
Since World War II, you can't say that we won a war.
But man, don't you know every time we turn around, it always got to be a war?
It's bad. It's an unjust war.
I don't think it was planned the way it was intended to go out. You know, it was mass destruction, weapons. We hadn't found them yet, and we still fighting.
It could just be, the people that's in charge could be on a power trip, as far as I'm concerned.
I think it's critical to the security of the country. I think that if we weren't over there, they'd be building terrorist cells and importing it to the United States.
Of all the people I've talked to that has participated in that war, I truly have not heard 10 people say why they're over there.
Well, I just don't think we ought to be over there with our getting our soldiers and everything killed like we are. I just don't think we ought to be over there.
Where's Bin Laden? Yeah, and how can you, I think they say you're about 6'2". How in the world can you can't find a 6'2" diabetic?
I really wish the people would get together as American people and stand behind what the president is doing, because going up against his decisions and the soldiers that are over there losing their lives for this country is not doing anybody any good.
I think the people that should be pissed off behind this are the American public, because they have fleeced us with the gas prices.
Man, we over there for nothing.
Trying to get somebody oil.
We over there fighting over some oil, man, when gas so damn high around here.
The way Bush did everything, it was like he was channeling everything around that oil situation.
We in a position that darn if you do, darn if you don't. Because the implication is, say if all of a sudden you pull out, what message do you send to the rest of the world? Basically, you're saying that the United States, we admit defeat.
And I think that's one of the biggest things the government made a mistake going over there when they really didn't understand what the people were about, is the way they felt about religion.
I'd say it's kind of a religion thing going on with a lot of it.
There's just a lot of killing and destruction, and those people didn't do nothing to us.
Well, years ago, I don't know what president it was, he wrote in the Declaration that the United States should never get engaged in foreign wars. So it seemed like the current president's doing the opposite of what the resolution said. So, you know, I don't know.
I mean, if them politicians that wants to cut back on the support and everything, they ought to send them over and give them M16 and see how they feel to be on the other side.
I had a loved one lose her life. She was 20 years old over in that war. And I feel like now, you know, too many innocent people losing their lives, and they're considered American heroes, but what we're fighting for, nobody can tell us.
What do you think about our Social Security? How are we gonna fix that?
Well, before they can fix Social Security, they're gonna have to do something about this war. Yeah, because that's where all the money is going.
Yeah.
I think they said this year alone they done spent over $1 trillion. So, you know, a lot of that money could be going towards Social Security.
And that may be the case with Social Security. We're going to have to start putting money back here that we're spending elsewhere in the world.
Social Security, man, I don't even believe in them all. That's just like believing Santa Claus gonna come down your chimney
And drop off some gifts.
and drop off some gifts. Nah, it ain't gonna happen. Nah.
Yeah, they need to do something to keep it sovereign. And they need to quit borrowing the money and spending it.
A lot of our present tax structure and different things that we have was based on, you know, years ago. And I'm really concerned about it. I think Social Security need an overhaul, because I hate to think of it, I'm only 41. But, you know, I've been working since I was about 17 or 18. Unless they plan on giving me my money in a lump sum when I get old, I want something there so I can have it.
I'll tell you, here's a good thing. Why don't we just go ahead and raise tariffs on imports? Let the Chinese pay some for the Social Security.
The Congress and everybody up there that took money out of Social Security funds and blowed it somewhere else, and the first thing they should do is stop doing that. What's put in Social Security funds should stay in Social Security and used for that purpose, and not put in a general fund for them to have cocktail parties and stuff.
I was born a poor country boy. I've got to work and I'm going to pay my Social Security, but if they spend it before I get there, then there's nothing I can do about that.
Oh man, in the next 5 years, you can forget it. Be gone. And you know, it's real strange. I just reviewed my Social Security statement they mailed me. I looked at it just Monday. And it's really heartbreaking to look at it and read it. You know, you work all these days and now they want to pay you pennies.
I personally don't think Social Security is the problem in the United States. I think with the baby boomers coming online, that Medicare is going to be a bigger problem than Social Security.
I think personally that if you're a young person in this country, you should try and deal with mutual funds, CDs, invest your money in something that's going to return you money. And if you start at an early age, then you won't have to worry about Social Security. You can manage your own portfolio.
I encourage people to invest for themselves. I don't know, I don't trust somebody else doing something for me that I can do for myself. Probably better. I mean, they've got 1 million people to account for. Me, I just got myself and my family.
Social Security, man, they owe me some money.
Right now.
Man, I'm blind. And they gonna tell me I ain't disabled.
Well, what do you think about Miss Hillary Clinton being our president?
To be honest about it, first of all, I'm not voting for Hillary Clinton.
She is definitely exposed to the cameras. She's not ashamed to say what she feels.
Yeah.
She's a go-getter. There's a lot about her that I truly admire. My only feel at this point, is the United States ready for a female president?
Well, if you want my opinion, a woman belongs in the house. That's where mine's at. I think that's where she ought to be at.
Don't think you'd be satisfied with her as a president?
No, sir. Well, in the first place, I just don't think that's a woman's place to be a president. And that's just like our woman governor. She didn't last but one time. And I just don't think that's a place for a woman.
Louisiana had a woman as a governor, and her response to Katrina, I believe she got caught up in emotionalism, and she got caught up in feelings, in leadership. You got to stand firm,
Yes, sir.
say what you say, mean what you mean. And everybody won't be happy, but you got to respond in a timely manner.
Yes, sir. So
And
you
not
need.
wait on somebody else to do your job.
Man, she can lead the country. Bill did. She would with Bill every step he made. She Bible telling him what to do.
So I really don't think she's going to be a good leader. I think she had a shot there when she was in with old Bill Clinton. She was going to do something with health care, and that didn't come through. So I really don't think she's going to be effective if she's president.
I think we've had Hillary as president already.
If you can give birth to a child, I think you can handle all the rest of the stuff going on around life. Childbirth is something serious. You know what I'm saying?
Other countries just gonna look at us like, I don't know, we're supposed to be America. Having Hillary lead our country, people seeing that, especially over in Iraq and Iran, they look at women as just objects. So for her to be president, they just laugh at us.
Yeah.
I mean, ain't nothing wrong with it, but you know, what about me?
What about it?
Why I can't be the next president?
You can.
Why I can't be the next blind president?
You can. Why you gonna run for it?
Because if I take out running, I might run into something.
Yeah, she'd probably make a pretty good one. She certainly couldn't be no worse than George Bush.
I think Hillary got some good views. If she got the views that her husband had, I think it'll work out just fine.
Man, she a good woman, man. Because she ain't going to be doing what Bill was doing. Bill was getting head. She ain't going to get no head.
I think she'll do well. I mean, she did a good job as governor. I lived in New York when she was there, and I saw a lot of the things that she did.
No.
You
I
don't
don't
think
think, no, there's no way.
She can do nothing.
That's that old country boy in me. Ain't no way in West Texas. I'm not going to agree for Hillary Clinton being the president of the United States.
That might be a breath of fresh air for the United States. I really do believe that.
With our situation that we're facing and we're going to face, I look at our president is our commander-in-chief. And I just feel like Hillary is not capable of being the commander-in-chief that we're going to need in the situation that we're going to find ourselves in. And you know, a lot of things are important, but all of that is null and void if we lose our freedom or if we go to war and we're defeated. So
I don't have anything for her.
Well, that's what people say. Women should stay, you know, women shouldn't be presidents or police chiefs or sheriffs, but I think that, you know, if you're qualified to do the job, regardless of if you're a man or woman, you know, you should be, given a chance.
You don't want my real true opinion, but I'll tell you what, I'm not going to vote for her. And I don't think we need her for no president.
I don't know Mrs. Clinton, but as far as the fact of her being a female and becoming the president of the United States, then it would be the same to me. I guess if somebody asked me what I thought of a woman being my supervisor where I work, well, if she's the kind of woman that can handle the job, if she can step up and do what needs to be done when it's time to do it, then I don't see how she could be any better or any worse just by looking at her before she's president than any other man that's ever been president.
What about these illegal immigrants coming over here, man, on these
I
boats?
ain't got no problem with them folks. I don't want to work half the time, man.
Well, I'd have to say I've used them before in labor. I mean, they're all over the place in building field. They do, they're just so fast and so much cheaper.
I was at the chemical plant down there in Sterling, and we was down there working, and they had hired a whole crew. And these guys was working for like $4 an hour, and they was paying us $9. And they stayed down there, man, and they made a killing, and they put them in a house and everything. But they was working for tax-free. You know what I'm saying? We worked, and they laid us off, and they kept them out there, and they had them doing everything, and man, the job tax-free.
Yeah, they all put a stop to it, and they all put the people that hires them in prison.
I ain't got nothing against them. They just trying to find somewhere to live.
As far as being illegal, they don't need to be coming over here just to keep on coming over here. And when they come over here, they make whatever they make, and they all band together, and they take all the money back down to Mexico.
So yes, they're going to come to this country, they're going to get free housing, they're going to get tax break. That $4 or $5 they're working for is actually more than the 10 or 15 that we're working for.
Yeah, but you think about it, you know, we need them. They make our economy really what it is today.
But I've met a lot of Mexicans, you know, they seem like some pretty good people if you can understand them.
I would probably try to round them up and send them back where they came from.
Well, it is a problem. But the way it is now, if it wasn't for the illegal immigrants coming in here, the farmers couldn't stay in business, I don't think.
What's funny to me is people talk about illegal immigration. You know, what should we do about illegal immigration? What do you think about illegal immigration? The term itself says a lot to me.
We've got laws that says you're supposed, you know, when you come into this country, you come in here legally.
Well, I feel like if they could put money on all kind of foreign policy, they should put up barriers to stop these immigrants from coming over and really making our lives a little harder.
They can't build a wall high enough, wide enough, thick enough to stop it. It ain't gonna happen.
My dad immigrated from Scotland, and so I think about that a lot. You know, he really wanted to come to this country and make a better life for himself. And you know, that most of our country is made up of people that at some point in their ancestry immigrated. So, but he immigrated legally.
Well, what has made America America is the fact that we have been a melting pot. But if we start shutting down, then we destroy what the founding fathers had in mind. I mean, and who can really claim true ownership of America?
Well, with the government doing all this stuff, man, they got going on, you know, like with this FBI stuff and all that, but they tapping all these phones. You think they ought to be able to tap the phone without you knowing about it?
Just because you don't have anything to hide doesn't mean you're not entitled to your privacy.
A lot of times we crack open big cases, you know, as far as drugs, violence. When people tap those phones, you know.
There's certain things that goes on in this world that we don't know about. There's certain information the government needs that we might have that we don't even know we got.
I don't think they should be able to tap your phone unless they got permission or something.
Man, that's dealing fucking with somebody's privacy, man.
You're entitled to privacy if you're the best person on the face of the earth. It doesn't matter. That's more reason you should have a right to your privacy. It's because you have nothing to hide. I mean, there's no reason for them to be looking at you.
It ain't per se having a right, you know, because legally, the police can almost do just about what they want to do.
Yeah, they shouldn't be allowed to do it.
They shouldn't be allowed to.
Yeah, the American citizens ought to be allowed to their privacy.
They breach contracts every day.
I think it can be abusive, but then at the same time, I can see the need. But who do we have in place to watch those that we hire to protect us?
I think maybe some of the politicians ought to be kept a year on and see what they're doing. I really do that.
I think whatever they need to do to stop terrorists, they need to do it.
Which, I mean, that's fine by me. For the time for it to take them to get the warrants and do all the legal stuff, I mean, that conversation probably would be over with.
You know, I'm all for, you know, the Privacy Act and all this, but, you know, if you hadn't got nothing to hide, why are you worried about it?
No, I think the government needs to stay out of our business as much as possible.
We've become a nation of what I call pantsies. And every little thing we tend to get a little shook up about. Yes, sir. And we chase after every little rumor. But we tend to ignore things that are right in our face.
It's fine with me. Anything that they can do to protect us, you know, and provide us with security, I think they should.
We don't need any big brother breathing down our backs. We got enough government in our life right now.
Wiretapping, it kind of reminds me of George Orwell, 1984, where the government is watching you. And I think this is what we have a taste of now.
What do you think about our gun control?
Well, I really can't say what would be a solution. It's something you have to take years and years to figure out. But the gun makers are number one.
I don't think a gun kills anybody. It's a finger on the trigger that kills somebody.
I can't see no way they can control it. Now, you think about it. You come to my house, I own 5 or 6 guns. That's mine, I paid for them. Yeah. And you gonna tell me how to operate them or when to control them or not to touch them? Be for real.
Yeah, I think everybody ought to be allowed to own guns.
I don't like sleeping without mine. I don't think we should have no gun control. I think every man ought to have a right to bear arms, and our Constitution gives us a right to do.
And the gun control is not going to get the guns out of hands of criminals. I mean, they going to have guns regardless of.
Deal with this at a family level, then we will see a major change.
Now you got the mama buying guns for the kids and everything, so you ain't gonna be able to really stop that unless you just stop guns, period.
The age limit ought to be at least 25 because the average person is 18 to like 24 ain't got enough sense to keep a gun, because the first thing they want to do when they get in an argument is start shooting.
Come on, where a 7-year-old kid, 6-year-old kid going to school with a gun? Where's his parents? I got 4 kids, and I got 2 that's in elementary. You can bet this, every now and then I check the book bag.
No, we shouldn't. Everybody ought to be able to bear arms. And
I think everybody should have the right to own a gun, protect themselves.
I think in a lot of cases we got to take our own security into our own hands.
Yeah, and I think that they need to, get stiffer on these background checks and stuff like that. I don't think everybody should just have a gun anyway.
they need some kind of control, but I don't know what kind of control they need. There's too many guns on the streets, that's for sure.
So the answer is not in more laws. I think the answer is in personal accountability.
I was born and raised in the country, in the South. I love the squirrel hunt, I love the dove hunt, I love the deer hunt. I love my guns, but I don't use them to take what doesn't belong to me, including someone else's life.
You know, I was raised with guns all my life, and I have guns in my house, and they're not, for me, they're for the sport and not for taking people's life, you know, and people look at guns in different ways.
What you think about this all these crime problems we having, this big crime going on? What you think we ought to do to stop it?
Crime?
Yeah. What's the big solution?
Really ain't no solution. Really, to tell you the truth.
The world is controlled by the few, and they leave the mass to go at the 10% that's left. So it's going to be some violence. You're not going to get away from that until you redistribute the wealth in this country.
I tell you what, I have no sympathy for a criminal. Anybody can work like I did to get what they have. I have no sympathy for criminals. I don't think that letting them out early is a smart thing. I'd just sooner build some more prisons.
Build more prisons, maybe. I don't know. Maybe that's the answer. Bigger prisons.
Yeah, they probably just need to put them in prison and keep them there longer.
Well, I think they need to hire more policemen, you know. In order to do that, you know, they got to, I know money is tight in different towns, but, you know, the citizens just have to come together and pass these taxes to pay these guys to protect them.
Yeah. More policemen. That costs more money there. Money crunch everywhere.
The punishment should fit the crime. And I know the prisons are full, but they got a lot of prisoners in there that for smoking marijuana or something like that. Then they letting people that murderers and stuff, they keep postponing that, and they're in the courts and stuff because they ain't got room for them. But a fellow smoking marijuana, he wasn't hurting nobody but himself. So why have him in prison whenever you got real bad criminals on the outside, ain't got room for them?
I don't know. There's been crime since day one, so I don't know whether you could solve it or not. You could probably make a dent in it by getting rid of 2/3 of the lawyers and get some judges up there that would handle more than a half a dozen cases a day.
The best way to keep crime down is to start, at home. I think it's, parents' responsibility to teach their children right from wrong, morals and values. I think that it's important to have God in your life, you need to go to church.
This country is trying to take God out of this country. I think that's why our crime has gotten to where it's at.
It goes back to family values. The way our children are being raised today, not all of them, but too many of them. They've turned to the street. They've turned to doing things on their own. They don't have any leadership at home. They're doing what they see their parents do.
Man, these rap videos, you gotta stop them.
Rap video.
These old games they playing.
Yeah.
And if you don't bring the kid up in the right environment, the right guidance, why should you expect your kid to be different?
Who do you think was the best president we ever had?
Well, I think before it's all said and done, George Bush probably be. George W. Bush, yeah, our president now. But it's going to take another 10 years for people to start realizing that.
Well, I really got two that I would probably say. I was really too young to serve under one's administration, but both of them have similarities. It's between John Kennedy and really Slick Willie. I think, Bill Clinton.
Bill Clinton?
Man, Clinton.
Clinton.
I think. I got along good with Clinton.
Yeah, I believe Bill Clinton.
Bill Clinton.
Yeah, he wanted to put the most money in the treasury.
Bill?
Bill Clinton,
Yeah, 'cause he like the black people, man. He just like us.
Just like it, man.
He smoked weed with us, and he got head with us. So that's the best president.
I think too often we expect too much out of our leaders. I'm not condoning anything that he did. I'm just looking at the job that both of them did in uniting the country and doing what was overall best.
And I know a lot of people disagree, but the president that we have now, President Bush, is the kind of man that when he says something and when he believes in something, he's not going to let a bunch of politicians change his mind. He stands for, whether it's right or wrong, he stands for what he believes in.
Well, I think Gerald Ford.
I like Ike.
Well, me being a outdoors person and a sportsman, a hunter, I think Teddy Roosevelt was, because he tried to preserve some places where people could have the freedom to hunt and fish.
I'm sort of leaning towards FDR.
Like the man said a while ago, I guess Teddy Roosevelt was about as good as there was. He was my kind of man, I'll put it that way.
I guess through the worst time, one of the worst times in the United States was during World War II, and I think Roosevelt did a reasonable job of getting us through that.
Well, I'm gonna put it to you like this right here. I believe that Abe Lincoln was probably the best president, because the reason why I say that, hold up now.
Come on, man.
The reason I say that is because he had enough gonads to
Come on, man.
He had enough gonads to go ahead and do the Emancipation Proclamation. Don't get it twisted. He had enough. He had enough to do that.
That was the history book.
Mm-hmm.
I'd have to say George Washington. Because no matter what state this country's in now, it was founded and it was started with the right ideas. And
Who you think was the worst president?
I don't think we've had a worse one. I think we've had some that didn't do anything much.
I'd have to say Nixon.
Tricky Dick. Richard Nixon.
Probably the worst one that I know about would be, probably I would say George Bush Sr.
Clinton?
I think George Bush the worst one we done had.
Bill Clinton would probably be my least favorite.
Yeah, it has to be George W. Bush.
I didn't care so much for Bill Clinton. I think he embarrassed the country in a lot of what he did.
Bush did some things, and I just don't even know how he even got reelected. That remains to be seen. I cram to understand that one.
Me, myself, I think Bill Clinton was about as bad as you could get.
And what would you think about a president that when he got out of office, they were trying to tote everything in the White House off?
Man, the man we got in office right now, he retarded. He ain't got no sense, man.
The one that's in the seat, by all means.
I think we got him in office now.
Bill Clinton, because he's a draft dodger. And you know, a liar and a cheat. Not that a lot of politicians aren't.
What do you think about capital punishment?
I believe if somebody kills somebody, they deserve to die. I ain't even gonna lie. I'm just gonna put it just like that.
Well, I'm not a fan of capital punishment.
You've got to have the ultimate in punishment. And if you take away capital punishment, you don't have that.
I think if you take a life, your life should be taken.
Well, I think we need it. I think there's got to be something that's going to deter these people from doing these crimes.
I feel like if you take a life, your life should be took too.
If you take a life, and especially in a vicious manner, you owe your life for it.
Can't just do it all the time like that, man. That's wrong.
I firmly believe in capital punishment.
I feel like it's necessary.
Man, I feel like this here, bro. I feel like it shouldn't even must be that.
Why not?
For what?
I think it should be done, whatever a man does. If he admits murder, I think he ought to go to the death row. I don't think we should be able to feed him for 20 or 30 years.
Personally, I don't think it should be legal anyway. You know, I think if a man do something that he needs to be punished for, he needs to be punished. You know, taking him out is not making him suffer.
If somebody goes out here and kills somebody, now why should he live?
Yeah, I think George Bush probably executed more people than just about any governor.
Yeah, the punishment ought to fit the crime.
I feel like execution should be made public.
Look at countries like India. Okay, if you commit a crime, then what they do is they bring you out in the square. If you stole something, they cut your hand off. Okay. If you kill somebody, they bring you out and they hang you. So death row in this country is a luxury.
But all them troops fighting, man. Which country you think over there is the biggest threat to, you know, to America, man?
Well, I think Afghanistan and Iran, Iraq, Pakistan.
Well, it's either Iran or North Korea, because they got crazy leaders who do just about anything.
It'll probably be Korea, because Korea is the one that's got the main weapons of mass destruction.
China?
The folks over in China?
Well, I'd have to say China myself, I guess. One of these days they got the manpower and all to do it with, I think.
Oh, China, no question about it. Yeah, China, to me, secretly is gaining strength. and they doing what my mama used to say. They throwing a rock and hiding their hand.
Man, right now it'd be China.
I feel like that there are a lot of countries that are a threat to America, whether they say they are or not. And I think a lot of it has to do with America's ideals and the fact that we try to impose those on other countries. And I'm not saying that that's the wrong thing to do or the right thing to do, but a lot of people have a lot of animosity towards us because of us trying to impose our ideals on them when they have never believed in the things per se that we believe in.
Right now it seems to be the terrorists. Terrorists.
I think terrorism doesn't have a country.
Our lawyers.
Man, I believe Russia might give us a go.
I think Mexico is one of the biggest threats the United States has got, and other Spanish-speaking countries. It's just a silent invasion.
United States, we're minding everybody's business except ours. I think we set to self-destruct if we don't do something about our people first.
Ourselves.
We ourselves are the
Because we have gotten away from what our forefathers built this country on, and that's putting God first in everything that we do.
What is the secret to understanding women?
Except that you will never be able to understand women.
What I realize is keeping them entertained. I think a woman always has to be entertained. It's just like a guy, you know, a guy's night out is sitting in front of the TV by himself watching the game. But you get a woman by herself, she's gonna go crazy. She's gotta be entertained. They gotta be entertained 24/7. Unless they're asleep.
Make her feel like she running stuff. You know deep down in your heart you can really overpower if you wanted to.
Just say yes, ma'am.
Go along with them and, you know, just go along with them.
Give them a lot of kids.
Compromise. Compromise, gentlemen. Compromise. You can't beat them, you might as well join them.
Just try to be nice to them and get along. Be about the only thing I can say.
You asked the wrong man.
It's a matter of understanding what makes them a woman and understanding their background and what makes them think the way they think, or even what makes me think the way I think.
Yeah, I wouldn't know that.
The best way to figure out, just give her what she want. And she gonna tell it on herself. She'll tell it on herself.
You'll never understand one of them, and not all the way. They're gonna come up with something sooner or later that's gonna throw you a loop.
Just find a neutral ground and try your best to get your line of communication. You can work through most of it.
The thing that keeps us together is just listening.
The more, like I said, the more you try to get to understand, you always get to know a woman, but you'll never get to understand. I promise you won't. I don't know no man that had. Not even the first one. That was Adam and Eve.
They too fucking crazy. They ain't stalking your houses, cutting your tires, scratching your cars up, man. I don't want to want.
As far as women, I think James Brown explained it best. This is man world, but it'd be nothing without a woman or a girl.
Well, I think that secret's in the golden rule, and it goes for everybody. If you treat everybody like you like to be treated, most of the time you will not have any problems.
I don't know Adam had that problem with Eve.
The whole time Adam was here by himself, he named every animal, every tree, every plant, everything in the ground, everything in the sky, everything. He had an ample amount of time to do that. But once God realized that Adam was alone, when he put him to sleep and took that rib out of him. Ever since then, we've been messed up. We've been messed up.
today, my man?
Just keep them ways in there, man.
Let me get that tape of the
cut it ball.
I think OJ on crack. You think he on crack?
Nah, it won't work. As long as I got welfare, ain't no need to work. They gonna pay for everything.
Oh man, what a life we got, brother.
Best one we ever had.